Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of You and the Laws of Attraction. Well, guys, my name's Dr. Drwendydearborne, and I am in the house today. And we have a show called, or our podcast today is Do You Trust Yourself? Now, guys, this is really huge. Do you trust yourself? Well, that being said, my name's Dr. Drwendydearborne. I am a choice and a laws of attraction expert. And what that simply means is I help you to understand the greater value that making conscious choices in your life has for you, and also supporting you in understanding the power, the absolute power to be had in recognizing and utilizing the universal laws, and that's laws, plural, of attraction, and how they can help you to manifest what you want. And also recognizing that you are using these laws all the time, absolutely all the time. And this is something that many people don't realize, that they are always invoking the universal laws, and that's laws plural. And so they don't understand why their life is turning out the way that it is turning out. They don't understand. But it's because of the choices that we make and how we use the universal laws consciously or unconsciously. Well, guys, this podcast is all about me. It's all about you. It's all about us creating the lives that we want to live. Now, anything that you hear me say on this podcast, it's vitally important that you do your own due diligence. Don't take my word for it. It's more than my word. So don't just take my word for it. Yeah? Do your own due diligence. Do your own research. And to add to that, tap into self. Does it feel right to you? Because if it doesn't feel right to you, then perhaps it's not for you. The one thing I will say, though, the caveat that I will say about the universal laws is that they are truth. The universal laws are truth. And whether you choose to believe this as a truth, or you choose to believe that the universal laws are truth, has no bearing on the laws actually working on you and with you and for you. That's God's laws. Those are God's laws, spiritual laws, natural laws, whatever you choose to put into it. Well, one of the things, actually, I'm on a new platform, but one of the things you will hear is this. Oh, sorry. Oh, that was loud. That was loud in my ear. Oh, Lord, if that was loud in my ear, I don't know what you were hearing. Yeah, that works. One of the things that you will hear, look, I'm all frowned up. One of the things that you will hear as we, go through the show, when I get ready to say something that I think is pertinent, something that I really think has a punch to it, something that I feel that that needs attention, or perhaps I'll put it this way, that you should pay attention to, as it can definitely change your life. You will definitely hear this sound. And when I get ready to change topics, I'll also put that in there as well, most probably. Most probably. But anyway, guys, welcome to the show. We will be together for maybe about 60 minutes, maybe less. Actually, it will be 55 minutes if I don't miss my guess by the clock. So it'll be about 55 minutes. So let's get into it. Do you trust yourself? Once again, I'm Dr. Drwendydearborne. Welcome to You and the Laws of Attraction. So, guys, do you trust yourself? Do you actually trust yourself? Do you trust yourself? That's huge. I wrote this. This is from my blog, actually. For each and every one of us, the word trust is a spiritual, religious, or metaphysical term that has many, many different connotations. And because of our own uniqueness, each connotation has its own individual twist and interpretation. So for you, trust, the uniqueness of trust, the connotation of trust, the individual twist, when you talk about the word trust, can be anything from forgiveness to belief to confidence, from knowing to doubtlessness to resilience to surety, and so much more, and so on and so on. However, trust for me is so much more than these descriptive words that I've actually offered you. Because at its essence, at its core, trust is a bond that can only be invoked and interpreted by you. And guys, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. I got to put my other glasses on so I can see these notes here. Yeah, that's absolutely huge. So it's important to note that trust is the foundation upon which everything that you have ever built, everything that has ever been manifested for you, any prayer that has been answered, trust is the foundation upon which everything, and I mean everything, health, wealth, love, relationships, everything now stands. It stands on trust. Trust, like faith, like belief, is one of the pillars that supports the creation of your desired manifestation. It supports the creation of your prayers. It supports the creation of bringing things into form and out of form. Trust is huge. The universal law of trust, I'm going to talk about. Oh, sorry. Yeah, right. I should have rang my bell. You can ring my bell. Okay, there you go, guys. As I said, new platform. Right. Um, the universal law of trust is a law that allows you to actively choose to let go completely and step into the belief of experiencing. And guys, you fill in the blank. So what I'm saying here is literally this: trust allows you to let go and let God. It allows you to choose to surrender to the moment without anxiety, fear, angst, anger, and any other emotion that can actually impede your process. So it really does. It allows you to let go and allow. Trust is an adhesive bond. It doesn't bind you, but it bonds you or attaches you through the creative thought process to that which you are asking the universal creator, known to me as God or your own chosen deity, to manifest in your life. Trust also activates the law of faith, the law of belief, and a few other laws at that. But the laws of faith, the universal laws of faith, the universal laws of belief, so that you know that you already have that which you have asked for before it moves into form, or before it becomes tangible, or before it manifests. And let me just jump off of this for a hot second, right, guys? Okay. In order for you to manifest anything through prayer, through affirmation, through whatever it is you are doing, whatever ritual or practice you are implementing to support you in manifesting what you want, you actually have to have experienced it internally first. Okay. You have to have experienced it inside, in the theater of your mind, or within the recesses of your mind, or in your mind's eye. You have to have experienced it. And I'm not talking about just seeing it. I'm not talking about just seeing pictures floating by. No, I'm talking about you need to have been able to feel it. You need to be able to hear it, see it, smell it, taste it, and to a certain degree, intuit it. So it has to be real within you before something can actually manifest, before your prayer can be answered, which is why one of the things about prayer is, and truly about using affirmations, which for me is prayer, is that you need to say thank you to say that you've received it, but you truly need to go through that whole process of engaging your five senses and your sixth sense to be able to experience it coming in to form, where you can now touch it in the physical. So once again, let me just give a little synopsis on that. You need to have the inner experience first so that you can have the outer physical experience next. And that's how that goes. So anyway, guys, I was speaking about bind and bond. So trust, the universal law of trust, it actually bonds you. It doesn't bind you to that which you say that you want. It's important to note the distinction that your choices bind you and your trust bonds you. So let me take a moment to expand on this. Yeah. The difference between bind and bond is simple. The bonds of trust can be broken, and the binding of choice cannot. A choice made by you, whether consciously and or unconsciously, becomes a part of your emotional, spiritual, physical, mental DNA. Your choice becomes a living, breathing representation of who you are, or you become a living, breathing representation of your choice. However, the bonds of trust can easily be broken. Now, we've all had experiences, and I'm making a sweeping statement here. If you haven't had this experience, then more power to you. This doesn't include you. But for the rest of us, we've all had experiences where our trust in people, places, and things have been broken or misplaced. Breaking a bond of trust is a conscious choice. Hear me clearly, guys. Breaking a bond of trust is a conscious choice, and it's a choice that we make. When we choose to break the bonds of trust, we are consciously withdrawing the adhesive that connects us in that way. We make the choice to step away or step back, to step away from or step back from. We make the choice to break that bond. So, simply put, when our expectations are not met in the way in which we want them to be, and the experience leaves us feeling undermined, vulnerable, angry, hurt, confused, all of you guys, you fill in the blank. All those kind of roller coaster emotional things that we feel. When we're actually left feeling that way, the innate self of self-preservation kicks in. And as a result of that action, we withdraw. And when we withdraw our trust. We withdraw our trust. And trust truly is an essential part of of how we again of how we manifest things. But when we feel a way about what has happened to us, we withdraw our trust. And an essential part of self moves away and moves away from the feelings of hurt and etc. Fill in the blank. You guys fill in the blank. Because ultimately, those feelings are telling us something. You know, those feelings are telling us something outside of us being angry, outside of us being hurt, outside of, you fill in the blank. How you feel is telling you something about what's going on for you. And really and truly, it's for you to decipher what that root is. It's very, very important. The action of withdrawing actually causes the adhesive of the bond to dry up and disintegrate. And so, therefore, trust is no longer there. The actual law or the actual action of trust, it allows you to surrender, as I mentioned earlier, it allows you to surrender confidently, comfortably, fearlessly, courageously. And it allows you to surrender in the expectation of knowing that your outcome will be perfect or perfectly the way that you want it. This is true prayer. This is true affirmation. And the perfection of all of this, it being perfect, the perfection of all of this is you getting what you want. When you are able to trust fully and completely, as I said before, you let go and you allow. You let go and you allow that which you are unable to do to be done for you and in your name. Without trust, letting go and allowing the divine creator to bring that which you are asking for into form, to bring that what you are asking for in prayer to be answered, that which you are affirming for the divine creator to bring that into form, that which you say what you're wanting is a challenge. It's a challenge. The art of trusting and the act of trusting allows you not only to listen to your intuitive or higher self, it also gives you permission to express yourself authentically, in truth, in honesty, in your own unique way. All right, guys? So trust is huge. Trust doesn't bind you. Your choices bind you. As I said, they become part of your spiritual, mental, emotional, physical DNA. Trust is an adhesive that bonds you to that which you say that you want. It actually allows you to let go and allow the divine, whomever your chosen deity is, to bring into form that which you are trusting that you will have. And again, as I said earlier, you can't just see it. You have to have experienced what you want within the recesses of your mind, the inner work, so that the outer work, which is the physical manifestation, can come into form. Scripture says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. This is what I'm talking about, doing the inner work. And sorry, that's Matthew 11, verse 1, right? Now this is what I was speaking of when I'm saying to you, you got to do the inner work. This is why you've got to say thank you before you receive it. This is why you have to have experienced it inside, in addition to saying thank you, before it can manifest. Now, that scripture, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, which comes from, I said Matthew. I've got here Hebrews, forgive me. Hebrews 11, verse 1, King James Version. Forgive me, I said Matthew. I don't know why I thought that came from Matthew. I'm gonna have to recheck that. So don't quote me. I'm gonna recheck that, but it might be Hebrews, might be Matthew. Anyway, that scripture clearly defines how we live our lives. Every day, from moment to moment, we are wanting the unseen or the intangible to become evident as in a manifestation. We want what we are wanting to move into form and or in some cases out of form. In short, we want our thoughts, our affirmations, our prayers to be manifested in a form that is in alignment with our five senses. We want to be able to literally, not just in our mind's eye, we want to be able to literally see it, hear it, feel it, taste it, touch it, and as a sixth sense, to intuitive it. Yeah. This is what we are wanting. Let me just ring my bell here, guys. Okay, that was kind of short, but okay. Attractioners, it's really important to note whatever you've chosen or whatever you are choosing to eat today or whatever you have chose to eat today, whatever you've chosen to wear today, to do today, starts out as an intangible or unseen process that was only visible within the recesses or the theater of your mind, that was only visible inside your head, if you will. You made a conscious choice when you decided that it was going to be fish and chips for lunch. The adhesive of trust then bonded to that creative process that makes the intangible become tangible. And what that means is you manifested fish and chips. You went down to the local chippy, it was open. They had the type of fish and chips or fish you wanted. They had the chips that you wanted. And hey, presto, the thought process became a physical process that you could put your hands on and eat. This too, guys, is really important. Just because you don't trust someone, don't get it twisted, doesn't mean that you can't have a relationship with them. Don't get it twisted. You can like them, you can love them, you can work with them, you can be friends with them, you can do all sorts of stuff with them. Whatever it is, you fill in the blank. But you will never, ever, ever trust them with certain aspects of your life or with certain expectations that you may have. Because you know that they won't be able to fulfill that expectation for you. So you don't trust them in that regard. So once again, just because you don't trust somebody doesn't mean you don't even like them. It means that you can like them, you can love them, you can work with them, you can have friendships with them, you can be intimate with them. But what you do know is that there are certain aspects of the relationship that you can't trust them with. And knowing that, it allows you to be in the relationship in an authentic way. Many people have issues trusting because of past experiences that they've had, which is normal. Which is normal. And many people have, issues trusting because they fear the unknown, which is abnormal. Fearing the unknown is actually abnormal. And fearing the unknown has prevented many a person from moving forward in their life. Actually, in coaching, that's called a limiting belief. In certain aspects of mental health care, that's called a limiting belief. How can you fear something that you haven't experienced? How you can fear something you don't know? You can only theorize about it based on your past experiences. But to say that you're afraid of it, how do you know? How do you know? So again, many people have issues trusting because of past experiences. That is normal. That's normal. However, fearing the unknown is abnormal. Fearing to trust the unknown is abnormal. It's abnormal. And it really is. Although people will tell you differently, it's abnormal. And let me just say something here. Your your inner guidance, I'll phrase it this way. Your inner guidance um, has the ability to let you know if you're in danger. The majority of us don't actually listen to it. Majority of us don't listen to it. They don't listen to the intuition that gives us insights from you know places unknown. Where did that insight come from? Don't know. Most of us don't listen. That being said, trust is a privilege that is bestowed or given, and this is given by you, that creates a platform for all the relationships that you are in. And understand when I say all the relationships, I'm talking about with people. I'm also talking about with places and things. You're in a relationship with your car, you're in a relationship with your cell phone. You're in a relationship with the area that you live in. You're in a relationship with the park that you go to. And of course, you're in a relationship with um the people that are in your life. Now, I want you to be clear on this. I want you to be under no illusion that giving trust, it not only extends to the relationship that you are in, it is also about the relationship that you are in with yourself. And let me add to that. So listen up, people. Be under no illusion. The giving of trust extends to your relationship with the divine or the universal creator. Or for me, that is tantamount to God or whomever your chosen deity is. Trust allows you to surrender to your chosen deity. Trust allows you or me to surrender to God. And it allows me to surrender to God on my own terms, not something dictated by somebody to me as to how I must have a relationship with God. But it allows me to surrender to God on my own terms. Or for other people to have my personal relationship with the universal creator, the divine known to me as God. And that's important. So anyway, guys, let me just back up a little bit on this, right? So I'm kind of Picassoing, as I called it. I'm going all over, but I generally, and genuinely um, get to and try to pull it all in to get to a point. So, okay, guys, here we go with this. You make a choice, and this choice becomes a part, as I said earlier, of your DNA, emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally. And your choice becomes you, and you become your choice. Your choice making hinges on you, excuse me, your choice manifesting hinges on you trusting the process enough to surrender to that process. So the universal creator, or whomever your chosen deity is, for me, known to me as God, and also the God within, to create or bring into form the desire of your heart. It's important to note that trusting yourself is also a privilege, as I said a little while ago, that you bestow on yourself, not just on other people, places, and things. Once again, most people's relationship centering around self-trust is shaky at best, and at worst it's non-existent. So the name of the game is, do you trust yourself? Do you actually trust yourself? Do you trust yourself? Do you? Do you trust you? I had said earlier about faith being, the faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Do you just trust in hope? Or do you trust in the evidence of the fact that that which you are wanting will come to you? Okay, let me get this up here. Right, guys. When I have asked this question, and I do ask this question frequently to people, right? I do ask this question frequently to people. Mm. Do you trust yourself in all things concerning yourself? Do you trust yourself in all things concerning yourself? And that's the question. 99% say that they used to trust themselves. But when XYZ happened, not so much now, not in all things, but definitely in some things. And this is what people say. You might be able to relate, maybe not, but you might be able to relate. But this, for me, is, I would say, a fairly standard answer that I have received to that question. Do you trust yourself in all things concerning you? Attractioners, listen up. That isn't enough. 99.9% isn't enough. Trust, like all the other universal laws, trust is an all or nothing law within the laws, plural, of attraction. Understand the nuance here. Loving someone isn't predicated on you trusting them. Expecting them to be gentle with your heart is. The key word here is expectancy, and there is a universal law of expectancy. Okay, there's a law, there's a natural law, God's law, spiritual law, whatever you want to call it, of expectancy. And expectancy equals trust. When you're standing in true expectancy, you are trusting. So once again, guys, 99%, 99.9% trust isn't good enough. Trust is an all or nothing universal law. Understand the nuance. Loving someone isn't predicated on you trusting them. So you don't have to trust somebody to love them, contrary to what people say. Expecting them to be gentle with your heart and not hurt you that's predicated on trust. The key word here is expectancy, and expectancy, as I just said, is a universal law, and expectancy equals trust. Trust is required for the energetic space needed for your manifestation to be realized, or your prayer to be answered, or your affirmation to come into form, or something to move into form, something to become tangible. Trust allows you to invoke the universal law of surrender. And when you choose to surrender, it means you take your hands off and you let go and you let God. Surrender isn't about throwing in the towel. Surrender isn't about giving up. Surrender isn't about weakness. Surrender isn't about any of that. It's not about throwing in the towel. Surrender is about recognizing that you have the courage to let go and let God do what God does best. And that is bring what you are asking into tangible form so you can have it in your hands, so you can experience it physically within your body. And this is whether you are talking about health, wealth, love. It doesn't matter what it is that you are asking for. Surrender and taking your hands off is part of the process. For all of you who follow my work, and for all of you who listen to my podcast, and for those of you who actually know me personally, you know that I am all about this process of knowing your role in the manifestation process. And you need to know your role in the manifestation process. You need to know that God is the how, the universal creator, the divine, known to me as the God within, known to me as my chosen deity. And this is true of your chosen deity too. And I don't care who you say you're worshiping, it's your chosen deity. Yeah? Your chosen deity is the how, and you are the what. Actually, I've done a podcast on this. You are the what. You expect the how to manifest your what. And that is actually the sum total of prayer. You expecting the how, trusting, surrendering, and expecting the how to happen to align with what you want to happen. Your role in this life is to know what you want. And it's God's good pleasure, as the scripture says, to give you the desire of your heart. As I always say on many shows, I repeat myself on many shows, you need to know what the true desire is within your heart. Many people wake up and they don't understand how they have arrived at the point that they have arrived in. They cannot see what they have done. They don't understand. How did I get here? You got here because you have been unconsciously and to a degree consciously having a dialogue, an inner conversation with self, and it's been filled with passion. It's something that fills your heart. And this is whether this is positive or negative. It fills your heart. And it's God, the universal creator, or your chosen deity's good pleasure to give you that which is the desire of your heart. And as I've said many times and will continue to say, what's in your heart? What's in your heart of hearts? And if you're within your heart of hearts, if it's not what you were really wanting, then guys, switch it out, flip the script. Don't waste your time. Trust yourself in the process of knowing that you can have that which you say that you want. Trust yourself in knowing that it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay to be any kind of emotion that you're feeling. It's okay. Whatever emotion you're feeling is telling you something about you. It's showing you something. And it's not showing you just how mad you are, because there's a root cause beyond, or there's a root cause beneath the anger. And that's what you need to look to. You need to look to the root cause so you can then utilize that wisdom, that information to move you forward instead of just continuously being angry. That doesn't help you. And what that does is, if that's the thing that's in your heart, you will create more situations that will give you something to be angry about. So, guys, trust. Trust is trust is really important in our lives. The universal law of trust allows you to actively choose to let go. It allows you to trust the process of surrendering, to let go and completely step into the belief of expecting whatever it is that you've asked for and expecting it to come into your life. Trust allows you to choose to surrender to the moment without anxiety, fear, trepidation, whatever other emotion you can attach there. Trust is an adhesive that bonds you. It does not bind you. You are binded to your choices. Your choices become part of your DNA, physically, mentally, spiritually, the whole 9 yards. Your trust bonds you to that which you, or attaches you to that which you say that you want. Trust activates the universal laws of faith, belief, gratitude, and surrender. These are all laws, guys. And you are under law. If you think you're here and you're not under law, you're in for a rude awakening, or your life will continue to give you rude awakenings until that is something that you surrender to, until that is something that you trust. Trust has built everything now upon which your life stands. This is trust. The bonds of trust can be broken. You can love somebody, but you can't, you don't have to trust them. And because you don't trust them, that means that you establish your relationship accordingly. You establish your relationship authentically. Because you love somebody doesn't mean that you can't trust them. Giving them your heart, that's a whole different ballgame. That's a whole different ballgame. Because the expectancy is that they're going to take care of your heart like it was their own. That's what that wanting is. And you can't trust them to do that. I can love you, but I can't trust you with my heart. Now, people may say that's an oxymoron, but it's true. You look at some of the relationships that you have and you see that that is a living, breathing thing that's going on for you. I also think here that one of the biggest things that I said in this, in this podcast is trust is a privilege that is bestowed or given by you that creates the platform of all relationships that you are in. Attraction is be under no illusion. Giving your trust extends to your relationship with the divine, the universal creator, spirit, Elohim, Buddha, Muhammad, whomever your chosen deity is, but is known to me, Wendy, as God. Trust allows you to surrender to God on your own terms and not what somebody else has told you, or not how somebody else has told you to. Trust allows you to build a personal relationship with the universal creator. And that's huge. Because you see, you can love the universal creator, but not necessarily trust God to bring that which you say that you want into manifestation. And this is true of many people. This is very, very true of many people. Trusting yourself 99%, that's a no-no, guys. It's 100% or nothing. So for you, I'm going to leave you with this question, and this is for you. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? And what is it intuitively like for you to trust self? Guys, paint yourself a picture. Paint yourself a beautiful mural on the wall, within your mind, at any rate, within your mind, of what that looks like. Then put the feeling in it. What does it feel like? Then add a little sound. Then add fragrance, aroma to it. And then, like all things, what's it taste like? And then listen to your intuition. My name's Dr. Wendy Dearborne. You can find me at the laws of attraction in action.com. You can get me at Dr. Wendy D, Dr. Wendy D, letter D, at gmail.com. I have been your host for the last 47 minutes. And today's episode has been talking about, do you trust yourself? That's today's episode. Do you trust yourself? And I'm hoping you have more clarity at the end of this, or you get more clarity as you think about this and you ponder that question. I'm Dr. Wendy Dearborne, guys. Until next time, guys, peace.